CSS, or cascading style sheets, is called that because you can have style sheets on several different levels, and they cascade after one another. We're actually going to learn them in reverse order. We're going to start with the closest, most dominant ones, and then work our way back to higher level ones that can be overridden. What we're going to start with is inline style sheets. That's styles that you actually stick in individual tags. We've seen a couple examples of this so far as I've been showing you things throughout the term, and now we're going to look at it a little bit more in depth. So I've copied and pasted in our lorem ipsum text that I used in the table example, just so we've kind of got some text to work with, and I'll put in a couple other things. Let's just leave it like that. If I reload this in my browser, here's what I have, some pretty basic text. So inline styles allow you to add CSS content to specific tags in your page. So let's start playing with this h1 tag. To do that, you always use the style attribute, which we've seen, and then you set that equal to something in quotes. The thing in quotes is CSS content. Now, style sheets have a general structure where you have the name of the style you want to change and the value you want to change it to. For example, color. Let's make this blue. By the way, you can do colors the same way in CSS as you do in HTML. There's also a bunch of other options which I'll let you look up, but for now we'll just use the simple ones. Now, this is a name attribute pair in CSS. Cascading style sheets code is different than HTML code. So in HTML you have an attribute and you set it equal to something. In CSS you have an attribute, color, and then you use a colon and the value, and that value generally does not go in quotes unless there's a specific reason to do it. We're not going to hit any of those today. So you have style sheets code inside HTML code. They're two completely different languages that just happen to work together. Style, this is an HTML attribute. The equal sign is HTML. The quotes are HTML, but the stuff between the quotes, that's style sheets. Now, part of learning style sheets is really just learning all these different attributes and what the possible values are. I've linked some references to those in the notes for this week for you. And I'll just give you examples of some of them as we go through. So if we add that style in there and reload, now you can see our welcome text turns blue. Let's put in a link here. And I'm just going to link up until the comma. And that, so there you can see is our link. One thing we could do here, for example, is put in the style attribute. And again, the stuff between the quotes is going to be style sheets code. One style sheets attribute that you can use is text decoration. And that can take a bunch of different attributes. We use this to do underlining in a previous example, but we could also say none. That means don't add anything onto the text. Now, by default, links are underlined, as we can see here. But if we add this text decoration colon none, that says there should be no decoration on this text. So if we reload it, the underline goes away. It's still purple and it's still a link. You can still click it, but we've taken off the underline. So you can use style sheets to override things that happen in HTML that you couldn't override otherwise. If I just wanted to change some text, so for example, if I wanted to adjust the beginning of this paragraph, I can, but I don't want to change anything else, I can add in this tag span. Now if I just do span, let's do it here, and reload, nothing has changed. The span tag doesn't do anything by itself. It's just a tag that is designed to hold style attributes. So let's do background dash color will be, this should be a light yellow, hopefully. And you can see that light yellow behind the text here. Let's make that a little bit brighter just so it's easier to see on the screen. All right, so I've put basically a highlight behind this word using the span tag. You can use background color on the whole document, you can use it on a paragraph, you can use it in a table. Here I put it in a span tag and I used it on a particular word. Now I can also put attributes in the body tag that will apply to the whole body. So for example, I could do style equals font dash family Arial. That's going to change the font in the document. And that should apply to the whole document since it's in the body tag. And now you can see we're in Arial font. And so that's an example of how you use inline styles. They all have the style attribute. They go inside specific tags and they just apply to that tag itself. What we're going to look at next are document level and external style sheets. That'll be in a separate video. And those are higher level. They apply more generally, but they can also be overridden by these inline styles. So these examples that we just did are among the most powerful in that they take precedent over everything else.